I just realized it's a little too much hype for paint night. Yeah, what's going on, guys? XJ here. So, happy Monday to you. We are gonna have a little chill night since the channel is so focused and gets its most attention, honestly, now for the paint tutorials and things of that nature. I thought I'd go ahead and stream a couple just to kind of show you my method, what I do. Not saying it's the right way, only way. It's just my way. Sure, there's probably easier ways to do things. I'm not an expert when it comes to Photoshop, but I know enough to get it done. If you got any questions, please reach out. So tonight, I'm going to work on this Hunt Brothers Pizza car, the 22 at Joey Logano. So the league I race in on Saturdays uses real world paints and schemes, and we continue to build the collection that maybe they don't have. Usually we're working on some of the latest paints. This one's not supposed to appear until late in the year, but I figured it would be an easy one to kind of knock out tonight. Just, you know, so I think I'm going to be on here about an hour or so before I break off and start going to do other things. So considering it's a Penske mobile, I just went ahead and pulled up this other paint template I had. We completed the Menards car last week. We released that one, and since some of the labeling, now I'm looking at it, I guess not much. Maybe some here on the door will work as far as for what we've got. PP&G, Snap-on's gonna have to go. Matter of fact, while we're sitting here, I'm just gonna go ahead and knock that out. It's a AAA and Coca-Cola that need to go down here. So I've already got the majority of the logos that I need in order to do the build. I usually collect all the files for anything that I'm building and then put them in a convenient location. That way I can just go and grab them when the time is right. Let's see. Yep. It's all white. So let's set that down and color overlay white. Good to go. Done. Okay. And then it's got a Coca-Cola tag at the bottom. Now I believe this Coca-Cola is white with a red border. Yep. Yes, it is. So let's just fake that one right quick because I don't have one exactly like it. So easiest way to create it is, excuse me, color overlay. Go white again, and then we'll just put a little background behind it. If I wanted to be particular, I could make sure I got Coca-Cola red, but we'll fix that in a second. It's a doorpost. That's close enough to Coca-Cola red, don't you think? Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yes, it is. Little large. Little large. Let's put along the lines of it. And then, so that's the main, that's driver's side, if you would. Left-hand side of the car. And then the one thing about the next gen, it's only got a smaller area for the logos on the right-hand side of the car. So we'll just duplicate those and move them down. Close enough. Good enough for government work. All right, that's got the easy part done. I thought I'd be able to save more off this car, but I guess not. So let's see. While I'm sitting here, let's go ahead and change this to number 22. I've already got the paint pulled down. Excuse me, as far as the numbers complete. So there's the 22. Mr. Logano. Go ahead and turn on wireframe so I can see everything that's going on here. Just the pit board right there. Oh, while I'm sitting here, I'll get to that once we pull up the colors, because I don't have any of that pulled up at this point in time. I was going to go ahead and change the pit board color, but no big deal. And again, this is just the general area right now. Actually, the numbers are pretty large, looks like, on this paint job. We'll get it dialed in closer when we start to actually paint the car. It's actually quite large, looking at it from the photos. Interesting. Let me look at something here. Is this, so we got a numbers folder where, like, keep things. Nope. Okay. I want to make sure he didn't have a different slant to it on each side of the car, and he does not. So let's go with that for right now. Like I said, we'll get this dialed in as we move through the paint. Just gives you some general guidelines as far as where to go. And again, this is mainly for, I mean, as of recently, I've started placing these own trading paints, so you can find my stuff there under, I think it's Jack J. You can see some of the paints there that I have uploaded. Like I said, I've just really recently started doing that. I've been painting for a long time. But most of it's just been for friends. Or myself. Now this one on the hood, you'll see here it's kind of elongated the way the numbers are stretched out. Again, this is just the model reference that I'm going off of. Typically these are quite correct. But once the paint actually comes out, there can be minor tweaks and changes, I've noticed, but it's a good guide for now, right? To use. It'll work. For purposes of what we're using it for, as far as the league runs and in the iSNF, it works just fine. So do that there for now. While I'm sitting here, the snap-on is white, so let's take that color off that one. Just kind of fixing little things before we start diving into getting color on the car and creating all the this one's got some, I don't know, light stripes in it. There's a couple of grades of green it has in it, with some light stripes, mainly on the sides. Kind of comes up over the top too, but it seems a little big. That's probably a better size. Go over here and catch the front end. probably look good right there. Our last two. Wait a second. Two. Oh, that two needs to go. Got it. And there's 2B. Okay. There's the numbers. Easy enough. All right. Paint codes. So what I will typically do when I have collect my images, and this can vary from real life, but like I said, it's good enough for a guide. Typically, it's pretty good. I'll go on to RGB color picker. Sometimes I'll just pull it directly. I'll pull the photo directly in here in Photoshop. Other times, if I'm on the internet surfing for pictures, I'll just use, sorry, I had a little sippy sip there in my drink, guys. We got to cocktail it up, you know, while we're sitting here painting. I use an RGB color picker. You can search one under Google, and you can actually load up an image and then pick them and save colors and go from there. So these are the stripes I was talking about that we have as far as in the car we need to build in. The only question is, there's 3 shades of green really here. This main shade that you see on top, then we've got this darker shade which is right here and then wraps up around the top, and then this kind of, I think this one is the same shade, but we've got this lighter shade. I don't really, sometimes these mock-ups, although it's still light here, so I'm a little bit more inclined to believe that it truly is a lighter green stripe. Sometimes these mock-ups, they kind of have a little bit of an artistic flair to them, where they what am I trying to get at? Superimpose the lighting. So that's one of those things you kind of have to watch for, check out. But considering, so, and that's what I thought this would probably be. It's like, well, they're just taking into consideration some lighting, but considering that the stripe is lighter here, I'm going to go with the 3 shades. So since the main color of the car is this top shade, which is that main green that I got here, that's what we use as just the base, and then draw the stripings in from the dark green shade and the lighter shades. I think that'll be fine. So there we go. And while we're sitting here, we'll knock the pit board out. Or not. How about pit board? And then let's go down here and knock the colors out for the pit box. So we'll do the green, and we're going to do this red. Should be spot on with the Hunt Brothers Pizza red. Should be. I checked it when I made it, so we'll see how it comes when it comes in here. Sometimes files can be a little funky. Not sure what that is, but we don't have anything on the front end. It's just a yellow ribbing. Okay. Things to delete out. So let's just go ahead. I'm going to delete everything inside the shapes folder. That's what I'm going to do. And I don't think any of these logos are going to keep. Oh, nope, nothing. Discount tire. I could keep it in there. Joey's signature is not anything fancy either as far as on the car door. So what I'll do for a placeholder right quick is change it. And then we'll run the font down later. Spelling upside down. Did I spell that right? L-O-G-A-N-O. Whoops, I'm getting fat finger here. Look. L-O-G-N-O. There it is. Legano. It's also going to be white on this car. Honestly, I think it kind of looks. Oh, I don't need to do cover overlay. What am I doing? Change it here. Wow. Well, that's pretty similar to. Huh. Maybe that's a Penske thing, because it's extremely. It looks just about like it's supposed to on the car. Come on now. A lot of the signatures and things you can find online too, guys. So keep that in mind. Snap on, we need to leave. That is in its proper place. What's this Pennzoil? Pennzoil up. That's gone, 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 gone. We're just going to get rid of the rest of them and bring everything else in that we need. Okay, so this, what's this? That's a snap-on. Got it. So when I create things, I'll have a stickers folder, or you can call it decals or whatever you want to call it. I usually have a shapes folder where I'll organize anything that I'm drawing on the car in and of itself. And I'll break that out as I go. Probably won't on this one because it's pretty simple as far as in what we're trying to do. And that helps when it comes to building the spec map, which I get kind of detailed on for some of them. This one won't really have to so much. And then I've got a post, and that's the post decals that are there, and then a numbers folder. That allows me to pull that stuff off too. So let's start. A couple ways you can kind of do this. If it's an intricate design, I typically like to pull in an image of the car. It helps as a guide. I wouldn't call this intricate, but I can show you what I'm talking about. And maybe it's something that you can use in the future. Let me pull it underneath. Well, first thing I'm going to do is kind of blow this up. Generally, we'll go with that for right now. Turn that layer off, and then I'm going to... Oh, nope, I'm not going to do that yet. Let me delete that out again. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and flip the image and do a 180 on it. So I need the left-hand side of the door, since the image is facing that way, right? So just kind of blow it up a little bit. Bring the opacity down. Turn these numbers off. And then get it to generally match up. Which that's pretty close. The main thing I'm looking at is the side panel. So you can see it's not perfect, because there's what it should be if we go by the wheels in and of themselves. And then even then, that kind of adjusts some. But like I said, it will give you a guide. That's all I'm really looking for here, right? It's just a general guide. There's a lot more help when it comes to... I'll pull it under the wire mesh. When it comes to, say, very intricate details that you're trying to work out, it's just something to... You just kind of paste over it, and it'll give you a much easier way to go. Again, you don't have to line it up perfect, because anything that you kind of... Some things you have to adjust for a little bit anyway, because the image is not going to match up perfectly. But it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So with that there, it's still a little hard to see though. Let me bring it out a little more. But you can see where the wireframe is not, you know, completely right. It's not, like I said, it will not be perfect. Try to squeeze it a little more from the bottom and see. If that's close enough. And again, I think that is close enough. So the main thing I'm worried about is the door. Should say the side of the car. And we can continue to, I have an image up over here that I'll continue to refer to and make adjustments off that, but this will give a pretty easy way to go. Colors that we need, let's see. I got some, yep, good that. We've got the dark green, let's work with it first. Okay, that's the dark green stripe. And I can go ahead and put the light green stripe in. So that'll be my two color bases. I'm just going to take the pen tool and draw it up. So don't need a stroke. Let's go with the dark first. And that image, it's really not popping through as well as I'd hope. It's good enough. Again, as long as it gets us in the area, then we're going to be fine. He does have the blackouts on the car, so that'll be easy. Let's start from the rear. See, this is a prime example here, so where the picture doesn't completely line up with everything, and you're sure you could get it to line up. Honestly, what's the point? So I will fudge this one some, and looking at the real photo, I know that it really kind of cuts through about here on the fuel intake area. So we'll start that shadow there. It's going to come just over the top of this as far as its travel, and then about down to here. Looks like a bit of a bend, so we're gonna, well, that's not what we want to do, so scroll out some. Let's see if I can bend it that far. I don't think I want to. It's gonna give it, I don't know. No. I think it'll be fine. I can do it in just one. It'll be smoother than doing it in multiples. Pull it here. And adjust it down. Tell you what, instead of starting with the point straight, I'll go ahead and give it some bend. It's just an awful large bend, but it's what's going to make it smoothest. Okay, looking at the car photo I've got over here and this one, that seems pretty good. I'm going to need to raise this one just a little bit and then offset that so it's not so It's going down a little more. Yep, I think I like that. Okay. Kind of lost the guide with the fill on, which easy way to deal with that is just turn the fill off. And then you can see where you're going with your guide. Should be able to just pop here and bend. But considering that it's going into the wheel well, I will fudge this one. It looks about right for that one. And then we need to adjust this one. Close it out. Okay. So that's a dark stripe. Again, if you've got overrun and you go past the template, it doesn't matter because none of this is going to show. Keep in mind that it's just the template that's going to show. That's the only thing there. So you can, you don't need to go back over here unless you're just that anal retentive about it and clean up these loops. Or anything along those lines. Now, this next stripe though through here, this is just odd. See the top of the car, it has this dark that comes off the side, which looks to be here. But it's definitely not as dark as this one, although they're both showing up the same when it comes to the color code for this side and the back panel, which is this connecting stripe down the side, which is this one right here. I mean, I guess there could be a fade in it. God, I'd hate to go through that much trouble, but it looks like we're going to deal with that anyway because this is a lighter green into the standard green on the car. Okay. So if we're going to go from this dark green let's just go ahead and draw the shape on it. And then figure it out from there. Wish we could remove the Hunt Brothers Pizza logo. That would be nice to see exactly what's going on. But we can't. And a lot of my paintings just trial by error, guys. I mean, right, wrong, or indifferent. Got one more dark stripe up here. It runs just below the front post, which should be the front post will connect there. It's kind of that one right there on the template. I'm going to move this down into the shapes folder just to keep everything clean. Doesn't look like there's a whole lot of movement to this one, but I'll give it a little bit of bend just because it needs some type of character with it. Rarely are things just completely straight. Well, that's not true, but this one doesn't seem to be that way. Say that much. you know, now that I'm sitting here looking at this thing, man, it's a bit more intricate than I realized. As far as in the design with the stripings. This is the great thing and the not so great thing about wraps these days, because man, it's just allowing for the incredible graphic artists that they're getting to do these wraps for cars today to get so highly detailed, man. And for somebody who's just, you know, a knock around amateur just trying to paint a race car so we look cool in the league, it's a bit frustrating. I'm gonna have to bend that one down there. It's coming just over the top of this one and off. It's actually high. It needs to be there. See, that one fades into the normal green. So I'm going to go ahead and make this one this way anyway. Nope, that one's not going to work. It's going to be way too far. I don't like where that's going. It's got to be lower. I can just fade this one back into the regular green on the car. So if we keep it here and then thin it out, keep it below the dark one and then thin it out, it should be fine. Nope, too large. Name that light green fade, and I'm going to pull it below that first one. Where's the first one? There's the first one. It's awful harsh, and it actually does come up on the flat spot sitting here looking at the rear end. And so the flat spot I should have continued that line up here and over. Captured more of it. And see, looking here, it looks like it ends right at just below fuel. So I was going to the top of it. Looking at this photo on the bottom, it goes over the top. And that's what I said. These aren't completely accurate. See, sometimes you just kind of have to wing it, make changes, go back, rework it. No big deal. It's not like I'm an expert here or anything. So if that's capturing the top, what I would like to do is that. Man, it's capturing a lot of the top. Now I'm sitting here looking at it. Matter of fact, it's not adding up or making sense. Pull that down some more. Just kind of have to see how this is going to look. But this back end, this should be this light green color that we've got on the side of this car. It should fade into this normal green that we've got as the base in between two dark stripes. That's what it looks like it's doing. And then this next stripe that really runs between these two light stripes looks like it's this base color of the car that fades into this dark. The further we travel up, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So we just put down this stripe, and it needs to go from that light green and fade into the main paint of the car. And then this next striping here is underneath the 22 and the number is the normal shade of the car that we'll work with. I guess we'll call that the medium green or main green. And it fades into the darker green that we've got here because this matches with the top and the deck. Rear lid, rear deck, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to make it dark just so we can see the differences. This one we're not going to have to be terribly accurate with as far as the build because it goes in between the striping. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So that should be first off dark green. There we go. And that goes in between those two stripes. So it's a dark green fade. Okay. And then in a perfect world, what I will do is try to build a nice gradient. Let's go into the dark green. And the main green, got that one. Here's the main green. Let's get the angle right or close. And then start playing with that from here. So it actually seems to be a little further down the door. Yeah, I think that works. That'll play for now. That'll do, donkey. That'll do. Okay, so while we're sitting here, let's reverse this one. A light green fade. Actually, the dark green fade needs to go underneath that one. There we go. So let's get this dark green fade drawn in. Gradient. Yep. Okay. It's about the ankle on it, wasn't it? That actually will probably might go a little further this way with it. Even a little further. Even a little further. Let's squeeze it down a little more. Squeeze it down this way. It's about to the, it starts to high fades behind that 22. There we go. Okay, that'll work. That'll work. sitting perfect. It didn't dial in completely yet, but we can start once I get these fades sorted through. As far as at least getting this side. We got one more fade over here I think we need to work with. It's kind of odd. So between this dark one, which obviously I painted it the wrong color. It should be dark. We've got a dark line right across here that fades out behind the 22. What I'm talking about is this one. We've got one dark line right there attached to the light one that fades out behind the 22. So easy thing to do is just duplicate. And then we'll move this down. So this both look to be about the same size. The only thing is this one has a bit more of an angle to it. And bucks up against that light green line. I'm going to assume we don't see it beyond the 22. So what I'm going to do with it is I will stretch this out a little behind the 2. And then I'm going to put that fade on it because I don't want an ending to that harsh line. And it fades into the main green paint on the base. So let's do that. Bend this back to our angle, which again was about right there. It's pretty dark up to the number. And then it fades out. Okay, that way, at least it, when the number's not on there, so if I want to release this one to public, I need to make sure that that's semi-correct. I'm still not sure about this one. I mean, it looks completely bright all the way top to bottom, but it almost looks like in the middle, it fades to the main color paint. So if that's what it looks like, let's just go ahead and build it that way. I mean, it's relatively simple to build the fades, gradients, excuse me. So that's the light that it starts with. And it ends with the light again. And then we need one here in the middle. And that's going to be the main body paint. Okay. This one comes down further, that's for sure. It almost will touch the top of the 22. Let me turn that on just so we got a reference. Yep. Okay. So that one's building into the top of the 22 and it fades to the main green of the car. And then this one goes pretty high there. Okay. I'll take it. I'm happy with that. This will start to look better when we start to get logos on it, guys, and decals. This one almost looks like it fades out though too, doesn't it? You can't see the photo that I'm referencing over here on my third monitor. Sorry guys, maybe I should put it up next time. I kind of figured we'd be over here sooner, but apparently not. So I'm gonna do the same thing. The gradient's not as heavy, but we're gonna do it anyway. Yes. If it's anything, it's that. That stroke goes pretty deep up there. Let's go with that. Senior stripey. All right, let's fix this mess down here. Looking at this bottom stripe, it looks like it takes a hard turn, and there's a gap with the main paint in between that line. So I like to typically get these kind of close, and I can adjust them once the logos are on there. But if I adjust them with the logos on there, I might not see some of the mistakes sometimes. So we know this one seems about right as far as where it's cutting across the wheel well. But this seems incorrect. Actually, this line may need to come out a little further, and that'll provide that separation I think that we're trying to see too. Want to maintain that about right there because that's what it looks like in the photo. And there's a little more separation where this one kind of bends back, kind of flares a little bit, it looks like. Yeah, I like that. Let's grab this one. Grab both these points and let's move them to where their exit is just about right there. I think that needs to bend more. I think that's what the problem is. Considering that is an awful straight line, it seems like, to there. And we'll flare this one. I don't want to flare it that much. I may have to rebuild this line. I'm not liking it. That's about right. Need to come down just a little more. Drag these closer together. I think that's getting closer to it. Let's do this. Up here into our folder and yep, smart layer. Let's see what we got as far as starting to figure out where these stripes really need to go, man. Pretty large decal. Drop it here. Let's drop the numbers back out. Okay. So the 22 seems to be actually a bit larger than it needs to be. Definitely needs to come down a little lower. Maybe it's here. It's almost right to the wheel well as far as the corner. It's almost about the same size as the these are about the same size. It's a little larger. I take that back. So that might meet it better. And I think it does. Okay. Looks pretty straight on. Close to the wheel well. Back here where the fender starts to flare. As far as this tail. And what I'm looking at is adjusting it off of this. And then the numbers. I'm not... Now the numbers are fine. I was going to say I don't think I'm happy with the numbers. But now that I'm looking at it with the photo up there, I think it's going to be fine. And it helps to give some type of guide now as far as what's going on with the striping. Of course, with it being flat too, it's not helping me visually. I think I could fade that one out a little more. Maybe. Wouldn't hurt. Let's drag this one back. Ah, that'll work. This one might need to be a little brighter right through here as far as how the photo looks. So I think that'll work. Yeah, that's got that. Okay, so let's just do a quick check. Just kind of see where we're at. If I'm liking this or not. Oops, cancel. Car number. Yep. 32, compress it. Now, all I'm going to do is take that file as saved, move it over to my paint folder, and oh, we're upside down. Okay, hold on. That's the only thing about working upside down. Okay. There we go. Yep. Replace. Okay. So that's where we're at. Granted, the wire grid's on it. But this one's a little flat. And I think this one could come down some more and squeeze. Man, looking at the photo, it's a little flat here, but it honestly, looking at the photo over here, it looks pretty good. This bottom line's a little thick as far as where it runs out. I might need to drag it out, this bottom line, a little further here, and then flare this one up for the fuel cup. It should be a little bit more separated. So let's just take a look at that right quick. See what we got. Flip the image again because it's just easy for me to see it that way with the way we've been working on it. All right. So first things first. Flare that one out. better. That's even better. Actually goes much further down than that. I think that's probably what we're trying to get closer to. We said this one was just too much. Let's try that. We'll take a look at it this time without the wire on it. Flip the image back around. Let's just see what we got. Place file, and let's go take a look again. Okay, so that's better. That's getting closer to what it is. I think the fades are fine. That fade looks good. I mean, as far as how we're doing the striping, it's getting close. The magic will really happen with this. It looks just kind of meh right now because there's no spec map on it. We'll get a spec map on it. That'll be when things really start to pop, but I've at least got to get the striping semi-right before I start that. This is better. I think the flaring's better here on this large side, and this fades into the dark because this dark will come across the top or back deck lid, I should say, and meet on the other side. So when we're looking at what we're trying to accomplish, we're getting closer. Yeah, I'm good with that. I can live with that. This separation is a little large. I can't live with that. I think this seems to be about right where it's hitting. It might need to move back a little bit, but definitely the gap's too large in between these. So you can see what I'm talking about right here. So let's make that adjustment. Mm-hmm. I think it's actually this one that needs to come down first. Looking at it against the NASCAR tag there. Okay, just a little larger than the other one. I'm still not happy with that gap. I think that will be closer. It's closer to right. That's not. But that is. Flare this one just a little more. A little thin. Okay. I think the thinness of this line might be the problem. Okay. I think I can live with that. So all I'm going to do from this point, since that's the left side, is I'm just going to make a duplicate copy, call it right side. And we are going to move this straight across. Do a vertical flip. And dial it into where it needs to be. So try to use the lines off. Now you can't do this with all cars, only the cars that are symmetrical. I mean, you can do it for, you know, like older style NASCAR. That's actually pretty close. There's the large line, and then we are 1, 2 down, large line, 1, 2 down. Yeah, I think that's gonna be right, guys. Anyway, so like, you know, say like the ARCA car, you can't really just do that quick flip and go about your business, because it's asymmetrical, and so that causes a problem. Still do it though. You can still use a technique and then just have to make your adjustments based off of that. But for, like, you know, the Gen 7 car, it makes it really easy. Okay, I'm happy with that. As far as the spacing, we got both sides and they are lining up the way they need to line up. So there we go. That will do it on the striping for this piece. It was this is a bit more of a pain than I realized. And it's funny because sometimes paints are like that. I'll look at some, it's like, oh yeah, that's easy, I can knock that out pretty quickly, and it winds up being something minor in there that it causes some extra details that I need to go through. I'll tell you another thing I'm going to fix though too right here is this gap behind the Hunt Brothers Pizza. So I think this one's good where it meets. You can come down maybe just a little lower where it's meeting here, but it's pretty good. But then there's this large, much larger gap where the line, I think we got the run out point just about right. This one has a little too much curve on it, but there's definitely not enough separation in between the screen striping and this one. So I could thin this one out a little bit more maybe. But it's pretty good size up here. But this is definitely a larger gap. Something's going on behind that one, man, where it just really dives off, because that's not a, it's a continuous line here, but it's not. It's almost like it does this. It's more like a little bit of an S curve in it. It's got a chicane in it. That's what it is. It's a little bit of a chicane. Let's fix it. Again, since I'm working on this side, I'm going to go ahead and rotate the image again, turn on the masking, come down in here, highlight, and I'm probably going to add a point this time. So let's add an anchor point, and we're going to add it behind the Hunt Brothers Pizza logo. I'm going to bend that out. And then the first thing we're going to do is make sure we straighten this one back up. It's about right there on the logo is where it's meeting. Maybe just a little higher. Nope. That's almost coming out the very bottom of this thing. Gonna add another point. I'm looking at the labeling on the car at this point in time to try to make these adjustments. Shit. That point is way up there. In order for me to get the angle, I'm going to have to drag that out here. It looks odd here as far as drawn, but when it comes to how it's going to actually look on the car here, that's getting a lot closer to right, because that it was just squeezed. Still not happy with it. Just trying to work with this as opposed to redrawing it all together. I think that's about right for the thickness. It's still a pretty thick stripe. This one may need to come down just a little more right there to the edge. At the bottom of the logo is where it starts to pull out. And in this one, I'm not happy with it either. We're good with the beginning of it, but not, again, something's going on behind the logo. So let's just add a point here and add a point here. So we can thin it out, number one, without adjusting the back end. About right where it needs to be. I think that thickness is good. We just need to sort it out down here now and get them a bit more even. Now, I think that's closer to right on the gaps, or the gappings. This one seems just, the angle seems a little off. This one's just giving me a hard time. Again, it seems to always be the simplest of designs that cause the biggest butt pain. That's it. That's better. Now, that shit maybe adjusted this a little bit back here, didn't it? Nope, 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 nope. That's good. And I am concerned, though, about... Nope, nope. I don't think it changed that one much at all. All right, so let's just redo this again then, since we know the right side's messed up. Let's delete it out. We'll make a duplicate copy of this. Name it right side. Okay, we're gonna move it toward that side of the car. Flip it vertically. And then line it up. We had a lot. Oops, come on, man. We had a lineups. Had a lineup. It's the second one below that. What was it? Harder time seeing it this time. About right there. There's a double Y. There it is. There it is. Looking for this little Y. Directly above the wheel well. Same one here. It's the same one there. So that's got it. Those are lined up. All right, let's flip the image. Take a look at it now. I think that'll be... I said this last time though, didn't I? It's just funny. Simplest of designs can take the longest amount of time sometimes. Okay, so that's closer to right. Gapping's correct there. I'm good. We're still held our gaps here. No one's ever going to see what's going on behind the sign with those lines anyway that they go. And it's the same. Yeah, again, just dies here, but not going to see it. Wait a minute, where the hell's that? We're missing a line. Did I line it up with the wrong one? I guess I did. Let's go back and take a look. Oh yeah, good Lord, way off. I was lining up the wrong dark green. Go back to the right side. We needed to be here, guys. It's just over that one. Nope, it was just below it. And what I'm looking at is I'll pick a reference point. So here's my reference point. Is this center piece above the wheel well? It's a V. It's kind of distinct. I can see that. I notice how much green where that stripe comes through. And honestly, just eyeball it to here. So now we're good. Now that we're lining up the right stripes to the right stripes. Put it back in and take a look at it. This would be nicer if I put the stripings, the decal on as far as the Hunt Brothers Pizza that's on this side. But there we go. Now we're talking. See, that's what I'm saying. No one's ever going to see this mess here where we have to make the adjustment for the lines to work out the way that they shoot out of this photo. Like I said, something strange is going on beneath it. So we had it pretty steady down. It didn't work. But that'll play. So really, we need to finish up the top here as far as the deck lid and then do the rear. Now we don't have a picture of the rear. So what we're going to do is fake it off of what was used previously, 2023. Make the assumption that it'll probably be something similar, and then when an actual photo comes out of the car, we've got better photos of it, we can always just go back in and make the quick adjustments off that. But that's pretty safe. Need to put the rest of the decals on, obviously. And then we can start working on the spec map. Easy things. I'm sitting here looking at stuff. Color change photos. sure the Goodyear's white, because that's what it is in the photo. I'll just fix little things as we go. Go ahead and make a quick duplicate copy of the Hunt's Brother Pizza logo, bring it down. Do a 180 flip, and then let's get it lined up to where it should be, so it's on the same size. It's gonna be a little more difficult. There's that. There we go. About right there. Bring that 22 down because we know that it kind of fits inside of that logo. Down a little more. And that should be good. So that's got those logos taken care of. Let's do a quick save as. Can't believe I haven't done that yet, considering the way the power likes to glitch around here from time to time. My brothers. Save it. And I'm going to go ahead and do a couple more logos before I call it a night. So we'll start to see it get put together. Use my reference. We'll do a quick fix with this auto trader. Damn it. It's not the right color. So normally I would pull that out and correct it in the file. As far as in the file in and of itself, it is straight across. Might be a little high. Actually, it looks pretty damn low on the car. But easy fix is just to do duplicate, and then we'll color overlay that one to white. Boom. Put a mask on it. Grab the paintbrush and mask out that right there. There we go. Wait a second here. Oh, it's fine. And then I'll take these two layers and combine them. And so they're good to go. That's it. That's easy fix for that. Then we got the Pennzoil and the shell logos. A lot of these guys, if you're looking for logos, it's easy to find as far as on the internet. Believe it or not, a lot of the racing teams, if you just go to their actual websites, they typically have a partners page. And on that partners page is usually a bunch of logos. So it's an easy way to grab your logos when you're trying to paint. That's pretty damn close. Let's just see how that looks. Let's flip it. So again, we're working from the reverse side of the angle of the reference picture of what we've got. Do a 180 on it, bring it down. Like I said, it is pretty damn low. It's real close to the blackout piece. I'm gonna pull it up just above those reference. Okay. Next on the agenda would be, we've got the discount tire. That one's pretty large. that's true to life or not, man. That logo seems awful large. Try it about at that height right there. So I like to get my logos just kind of generally placed based off the reference of the photo that I'm using. And then we can go in and obviously make adjustments once we take a look. It seems awful large. We'll take a look at it. It does look pretty big as far as on the photos for reference. Oh, damn. I took the Pennzoil off the hood earlier on the base paint that I was starting, and I'll be damned if it's not right there. Of course, again, see, this is a mock-up. Even though this is a mock-up for 2024 as far as the car he's going to be running later this year, the big Ford Blue Oval is not on this dark horse. I haven't seen it on any of the dark horses yet. As far as on the fronting, the hood of the vehicle. So this mock-up is probably, and you know what? There is no probably. This mock-up is last year's Gen 7. Because you can tell by the decals for the headlamp and the front end. It is not the current body, but that's all we got to work off of, so we'll go with it. Are the blackouts on there? Okay. Let's put it on the card, see where we're at. Okay. That's low the way it should be. The gap might be a little large in between these two. Discount tire needs to come down the post some, a little closer to that joint. This one seems right. That's a little odd. This one seems closer to right. It could be a problem as far as with the arrow piece there that's on the car. It looks about the right size. I mean, you see what I'm talking about in the main photo. How large that discount tire looks. But that's about right. So, but it does need to come down. This one seems about right, but no, I swear they're in the same spot. But I guess it's this arrow piece that's conflicting with this one. These actually might be a little bit small. I'd rather have them smaller than too large. I don't like oversized logos. Really look bad if you get them too big. So this arrow piece is going here. Let's just dial this in a little more and give a little twist. And even though this one looks good, I would like to do the same thing for it, just to mimic both sides, so they are the same. Let's bring that up to 161. Let's go 161 and drag it back just a little bit. And then we'll do the same thing for these over here so that they are mirrored. 161. There we go. Bring it up a little bit back. And there we go. Okay. Turn up the wire. Let's take a look at it right quick. And I think I'm going to call it a night from here and go watch a buddy of mine race. Come on, man. What's going on? Oh, good grief. Closed out of something I didn't mean to close out of. Here we go. Okay. So that's where we're at for right now. It's good enough for tonight. Numbers are correct. Logos are correct. I need a higher res one of this one. I'm not happy with that, but that's easy to get and replace. Need to move back this Coca-Cola too. Let's see. This is the problem. Start painting, and all kind of crap starts to happen. It's impossible to end once you start. There we go. Okay, got the Coca-Cola one sorted there. Probably need to sort it on this side because that's going to be a little large, just considering that it's smaller, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. That's good enough because you can't read it anyway because these are way too tiny on this side. So on the next gen car, we've got, I can't stand it. I gotta save it and take a look at it. I can't. I just can't take it. So we can get to a stopping point tonight. Replace. Okay. So, yeah, that's better as far as that. On this side, you only have a smaller area to paint the decals on the post. And I guess it's in real life, but you've got this piece right here that you can't paint over. I haven't looked at it that close, to be honest with you, as far as in real life. But so when I take those decals over to the post side, I'll just shrink them down. No one really ever sees them anyway because they start to get so tiny when you're in sim. It's just nice to know that they're there. But it's coming along fine. Where's my... I guess I should at least put the dark horse on here so you can see that. Kind of looks like crap without the main. There we go. Okay, so now the dark horse is back. But that'll be it. That's a start for tonight as far as for the car. What we're working off of, if you guys are just joining me, is that right there. As far as recreating the Hunts Brothers pizza car for the Gilogano, and again, this is for iSNF. Or to run. Striping was a little bit more of a pain in the butt than I realized, man, when I started to get into it. A lot due to the gradients and the fades and whatnot. So the magic will happen when we can get in here and everything's sorted and we can do the spec map, because right now it's just flat. It's just the iRacing base, blah. Everything's just shiny and there's no character to it. And I'll show you how I separate out. I guess I'll wait to finish this car until the next time I stream a paint stream. That way you can watch a continuation of it of how I build my spec maps in order to separate the decals, the numbers, the paint, all of that stuff. And we'll go from there. Guys, thanks for hanging out. Hope you have a good Monday night. I will be streaming tomorrow afternoon once the iRacing service comes back online. So make a note. We're going to do a new content rain type of night. Should be a good time as far as Tempest and the new content we're going to get. So I know I'm excited. I hope you are too. Season 2 coming. So tomorrow afternoon, I should say, as soon as the servers come back online, whenever that is, we're going to fire up Tempest and go play in the rain, along with all the new content that is out. I know we're getting the super lights and with the dirt mini, the mini dirt. What is that called? Dirt midget? It's not a dirt midget. We've got a dirt midget already. I don't know. New tracks, most road, which is fine, but we'll get going from there. Hope you guys have a good night. Hope you learned something. If you got any questions, just let me know. Drop it in the comments below. I usually get to them. Also got some painting tutorials out there if you want to take a look at those to get you started as far as on your painting journey. You guys have a good one. We will see you tomorrow night or afternoonish or something along those lines. Have a good one.